Hi, first graders. My name is Shelby, and I'm from Partnership for Kids. Thank you so much for being at school today because being at school right now is your number one job. So it's really important that you get to school on time and that you are being at school when you're healthy and you're able to be at school. It's also important to get all your work done too at school, all your assignments and your projects. Because if you're starting to practice this now as first graders, it's going to be so much easier for you to be at school on time and to be at school when you're healthy, when you're older. And also, it's going to help you get ready for work someday when you have jobs. So, today we're going to be talking about communities, and our book is about communities as well. And a community is basically just a group of people who are united by the same thing. So, you can have really big communities like the people in your city or town. So, we live in Omaha, so Omaha would be our community. And you can also have really small communities like the people in your neighborhood, or if you're part of a club or a sports team. So if you play soccer or basketball or volleyball, then that would also be a community of its own. So a community that I belong to would be Partnership for Kids because I work here. So I'm in this community with all my people that I work with here. So we can go ahead and get started on our book since we've talked a little about communities so far. And our book today is The Doorbell Rang by Pat Hutchins. And if you have your copy available, you can feel free to follow along in your book. "I've made some cookies for tea," said Ma. "Good," said Victoria and Sam. "We're starving." "Share them between yourselves," said Ma. "I made plenty." "That's 6 each," said Sam and Victoria. "They look as good as Grandma's," said Victoria. "They smell as good as Grandma's," said Sam. "No one makes cookies like Grandma," said Ma as the doorbell rang. It was Tom and Hannah from next door. "Come in," said Ma. "You can share the cookies." "That's 3 each," said Sam and Victoria. "They smell as good as your Grandma's," said Tom. "And look as good, too," said Hannah. "No one makes cookies like Grandma," said Ma as the doorbell rang. It was Peter and his little brother. "Come in," said Ma. "You can share the cookies." "That's 2 each," said Victoria and Sam. "They look as good as your Grandma's," said Peter, "and smell as good." "Nobody makes cookies like Grandma," said Ma as the doorbell rang. It was Joy and Simon with their 4 cousins. "Come in," said Ma. "You can share the cookies." "That's 1 each," said Sam and Victoria. "They smell as good as your Grandma's," said Joy. "And look as good," said Simon. "No one makes cookies like Grandma," said Ma as the doorbell rang. And rang. "Oh dear," said Ma as the children stared at the cookies on their plates. "Perhaps you'd better eat them before we open the door." "We'll wait," said Sam. It was Grandma with an enormous tray of cookies. How nice to have so many friends to share them with, said Grandma. It's a good thing I made a lot. And no one makes cookies like Grandma, said Ma as the doorbell rang. Okay, well, I hope that you all enjoyed that book. You do have a copy of your own to take home and read with the people in your house. So for now, I would have if your teacher could pause the video at this moment, so a few students could share. But what community did you see in the book, and how do you know it was a community? So go ahead and pause the video and then start playing it again after you have had a chance to share. Thank you. Okay, well, thank you so much to those of you who shared. I'm sure you guys all had some awesome ideas. One community that I saw in the book would be Sam and Victoria's house because everyone was coming over for the same reason, which was to eat cookies and to play with each other. Also, if some more students could share a community that they belong to, this could be if you're part of a sport, maybe your neighborhood, your church, your school, or a club that you're involved in. So if your teacher could pause the video again and have some more students share, thank you. Okay, well, thank you again to those of you who shared. I'm sure that you guys had some amazing answers as well. Some examples that we came up with for communities. One would be your school, since you're all there to learn. And a bigger one would be Omaha, which is the city that we live in. And even bigger than that would be Nebraska, which is our state. And then bigger than our state is our country, the United States. And then even bigger than our country would be Earth. So those are some communities that we came up with that they go from small to biggest. So thank you so much, first graders. I hope that you learned a lot about communities and maybe come up with some on your own, some more that you're involved in. They can be big and they can be small. Thank you so much and have a great rest of your day.